Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing on with the fanfiction Where the Soul Leads. Today we're going to be doing chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 3, the USJ. Bakugo tried to ignore it. Tried to ignore the way the red dog kept wandering closer to that dumbass with the spiky hair. Tried to ignore the way that the stupid little lizard always seemed to be watching him now, blinking those calm dark eyes. He tried to ignore Kirishima too. He didn't talk to him, didn't sit near him, didn't even look at him unless he had to. But Kirishima wasn't going anywhere. He was always there. At training, just close enough to partner up with without making it weird. In the cafeteria, sliding into the seat across from him like they'd planned it. During class, leaning back in his chair with that easy grin, like Bakugo didn't burn holes in his desk with his silence. And the worst part? He didn't push. He didn't ask Bakugo to talk. He didn't ask about the soul animals. Didn't mention fate or destiny or any of that other dumb romantic crap that people always whispered about when it came to soulmates. He just kept showing up, quiet, steady, and stubborn as hell. Kirishima had stopped trying to talk about it after the first week. Bakugo made it pretty clear where he stood on the whole soulmate thing. Don't fucking say it, he snapped the second Kirishima got that hopeful look in his eyes. So Kirishima didn't say it. He didn't talk about the dog that followed Bakugo around like a silent guardian. He didn't say how much comfort it brought him, finally seeing the person his lizard had represented all these years, confident, strong, and determined. He just stayed close. Because Kirishima had decided something, and once he decided something, he didn't back down. Dude, Kaminari muttered, trying to keep his voice down, but clearly not enough. Why are you always hanging around Bakugo? Bakugo's head snapped up, eyes flashing. I'm not... Kirishima started defensive, but Bakugo cut in sharp. Shut it, Pikachu. Don't make it weird. Chill, bro, Kaminari said, smirking. He's always glued to you. It's hilarious. Kirishima didn't say anything. But when class ended, he fell into step beside Bakugo in the hallway anyway. No words, just quiet company. The dog padded quietly at Bakugo's other side, unseen by anyone else. The lizard rested on Kirishima's shoulders, eyes locked on Bakugo, like he was waiting for something. Bakugo didn't look back, but he didn't walk away either. The first time it really shifted was the attack on the USJ. When the class stepped into the rescue training facility, the mood was light. Kirishima was grinning, Bakugo was irritated, business as usual. The red dog lay on the ground near the entrance, stretching lazily across the warm cement, ears twitching. The lizard, sharp-backed and still as stone, rested in between the dog's ears like it belonged there. Neither of them moved when 13 began the lecture. This was supposed to be routine. Then someone saw a strange portal with people pouring out, and everything changed. Bakugo didn't flinch when the first villain stepped out of the portal. Didn't hesitate. Didn't think. His instincts kicked in before anyone could breathe. He shoved past Deku and charged forward, explosions sparking at his palms before the smoke even cleared. Kirishima was right behind him. Of course he was. Stupid, reckless idiot. The world warped and suddenly twisted, the ground beneath them shifting like it had been pulled from under their feet. One moment, they were charging headfirst into the fight, and the next, everything around them blurred and cracked like shattered glass. When the dizziness faded, they were somewhere else. They didn't know exactly who they were up against, but it didn't matter. Bakugo's palms still sparked, ready to explode on command. Around them, the sounds of battle echoed, grunts, crashes, and the sharp cracks of quirks firing. Kirishima was right there, matching Bakugo's pace, pushing forward with unwavering determination. They fought together, side by side, covering each other's blind spots without a word. Explosions and punches blurred around them. The bond between them felt solid and unshakable. It should have pissed him off that they'd been thrown into the unknown, separated from the others. But instead, he felt something else, a weird kind of calm. Kirishima's presence was steady, like the solid rock Bakugo never realized he needed. No words, no flashy moves, just strength and resilience. Bakugo glanced at him, expecting that dumb grin, but it wasn't there. Instead, Kirishima's face was set, sharp, focused, tough in a way Bakugo had never seen before. No flash of teeth, no easygoing smile, just grit and something solid behind his eyes. It wasn't just bravado, it was real. Kirishima could hold his own. He wasn't just tagging along. Bakugo's usual scowl softened just a fraction. Maybe this was more than luck or coincidence. Maybe this was something worth paying attention to. They moved as one, a silent team in a war no one expected. Neither of them said a word, but Bakugo could feel it. Something shifting between them. The fight wasn't over, but maybe, for the first time, Bakugo knew he wouldn't have to face it alone. Chapter 4. The Sports Festival. The days after the USJ attack passed in a blur. No one talked about it much, not really. Aizawa came back with half his face bandaged and voice rough as gravel as he told them UA wouldn't be canceling the sports festival. If anything, the attack had only made the event more important. Bakugo rolled his eyes at the announcement, muttering something about needing a real challenge, but for once he didn't follow it up with shouting or threats. Kirishima noticed, but he didn't say anything about it, just sat back, nodded along, and smiled like always. The morning of the sports festival, Bakugo stood behind the starting line with his hands in his pockets and a scowl carved deep into his face. He hated crowds. He hated reporters even more. He hated the way everyone kept staring at him like he was supposed to put on a show. But he didn't hesitate when the race started, didn't flinch at the explosion that tore through the ground beneath him, or the robots, or the mines, or the chaos of all the students scrambling for a single finish line. He ran. He crossed the finish line. Sweat stung his eyes and his lungs screamed. He just flexed his muscles, chest heaving, because even if he didn't win, he refused to give up. And somewhere not far behind him, Kirishima crossed the line with a grin and scraped knees, panting and laughing like this whole thing was some kind of game. Bakugo didn't look at him, not directly. But when the cavalry battle started, and he had first pick for teammates, he didn't even hesitate. You, he barked, jabbing a finger at Kirishima. You've got guts. I need someone who won't fold. Kirishima grinned, already stepping forward. You need a strong front horse, right? That's me. Bakugo grunted, arms crossed, clearly unimpressed, but he didn't say no. Bakugo didn't smile, but something in his chest eased, just a little. They moved like they'd been training together for years. Kirishima held the formation steady, blocking attacks with his hardened arms and shouting directions when Bakugo was too busy blasting someone off their pedestal. Bakugo didn't have to tell him twice. Hell, most of the time, he didn't have to tell him at all. He just looked, and Kirishima was already there, anticipating, adjusting, pushing forward with that same determined grin like nothing could knock him down. By the time they secured their spot for the next round, the rest of the class was eyeing them like a threat. Bakugo liked it. The one-on-one matches were more of the same. Bakugo blew through the bracket with no hesitation, no apologies. He didn't hold back, not even when Uraraka stepped into the ring with that fierce glint in her eye. He respected that. So he fought her like he would have fought anyone else. When the crowd started booing during the ceremony, after they forced the medal onto him and muzzled him like some kind of wild animal, he fought. He thrashed, resisted, tried to shove it all away. But in the end, he stood there, silent and seething. The crowd was long gone. The stadium lights dimmed, but Kirishima couldn't shake the image of Bakugo on that podium, bound and muzzled like a wild animal. He found him near the track, hands shoved deep into his pockets. You okay, man? Kirishima asked, keeping his voice casual. Bakugo didn't look at him. Why wouldn't I be? Kirishima shrugged. I don't know, just didn't seem like you liked being up there. A long pause. The hell kind of ceremony ends with people booing the winner? Kirishima blinked. Bakugo didn't answer right away. I didn't deserve it, he muttered. Kirishima blinked. What? Bakugo's fist clenched at his side. Todoroki didn't even try. He gave Deku everything, and he held back on me. I don't want to win someone handed me, because they couldn't be bothered to fight for real. Kirishima opened his mouth to respond and then closed it. Bakugo wasn't looking at him, just stared down at the dirt like he wanted to punch a hole through it. I fought like hell, he said, voice tight, every round. I didn't coast. I didn't play nice. I gave round face everything I had, and people acted like I was a villain for it. Then Todoroki walks in half-assing the final match, and I'm supposed to smile and accept first place like it means something? Kirishima stepped forward, not smiling or joking, just solid and steady. It does mean something, he said quietly. You still earned it. You fought harder than anyone else out there. Bakugo finally looked at him. And if you think that medal doesn't count, Kirishima added, then you'll just have to keep fighting till you earn one that does. A beat of silence. Then Bakugo let out a soft, humorless scoff. Dumbass. Kirishima grinned. Yeah, but I'm your dumbass now, right? Bakugo didn't answer, but he didn't walk away either, and the red dog at his side gave a silent wag of its tail. Then low. I don't fight to entertain. I know. Bakugo finally looked at him. Just a glance. Just enough. You're not as dumb as you look, shitty hair. Kirishima grinned. Thanks, man. All right, friends. Thank you so much for listening to these next two pieces. I'll be back soon with the next two. See you next time.